Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's an awful day. It rained all night, it's rained all day. I managed to go out with the dog this morning, made a little video of that. I was going to go off today and have a day off somewhere, but January is just, it's quite hard work, isn't it? So I've got a big announcement to make. I'm introducing to you a brand new feature to the channel. It's a series that's probably going to last as long as the channel lasts, or it might just last a couple of months because it might be a complete flop. I've always been interested in geography, history, the outdoors, and I was working over Christmas and I was talking to some colleagues, and I don't know how we got around to it, but we got around to this project. So I've been since Christmas sort of pulling it all together, and today I'm going to give you an introduction to what it's all about, and I'm hoping to actually get it started. It was today, but it'll probably be next week now. So I'm on a mission to visit all 39 of England's historic counties, from the rugged peaks of Westmoreland and Cumberland to the beautiful shores of Devon and Cornwall. I will, of course, do Scotland, Ireland and Wales, but I'm starting with England because it's closest to home, and that in itself is going to be a bit of a challenge. The historic counties are the counties really that were in the UK before the 1970s. Way back when, and I'm not an expert, but when England was separate kingdoms, there was the Northumbria, there was Wessex, they're the only two I can think of off the top of my head. And then the country started to become more fragmented, I think, in Anglo-Saxon times and in Norman times, and we ended up with these administrative divisions, the counties, and they kind of remained unchanged for about 1,000 years. And then there were a lot of changes in the 70s. Places like Cumberland, Westmoreland, Rutland, big chunks of some counties like Yorkshire and Lancashire were hived off into Greater Manchester, Liverpool, Humberside was created, and so the historic counties were gone, but they haven't been. They've lived on in people's memories and in sports teams and business bodies and things like that. So I've always been interested, primarily in the county where I live, Yorkshire, that was so big it was subdivided into 3 separate ridings. I think that's derived from I don't know, Norse or Anglo-Saxon, and it means thridding I think it was. So the county was divided into 3, the North Riding, the East Riding and the West Riding, but they were actually separate counties. So I've always been interested in them and the borders and one thing and another. So we got onto this idea to visit all 39 counties. How could we make it enjoyable and fun? Then we would have the ultimate historic counties bingo challenge. I have a script, but I've gone completely off it. So it isn't just a road trip. It's a fun treasure hunt to see what each of these counties has to offer us. Without further ado, I'll show you what I've been working on since Christmas. Here it is. So, part of the idea is, of course, that we can all play along together. So the plan is I'm going to drive around was going to start with the East Riding. This is the bingo card for that. And over the course of probably about a week, so if I go for a week's holiday somewhere, we've got a week to explore the county. Or if it's closer to home, we've got 4 or 5 days to have days out. And in those 5 days, 6 days, I'm going to try and find as many things as are on the bingo card as possible. And just like bingo, if we get a line, then that's a win. If we get a full house, that's a super win. There are no prizes. We're playing along just for fun. I have had some stickers printed. They're not prizes. I had some before and they had my face on, so I've taken that off now and just replaced it with my initial. But I've got a big bag full of them. So as I say, they're not prizes, but if you ever do see me out on the bingo challenge, or if I find any community notice boards or anything like that, then you're welcome to ask for a sticker. I'll stick one where it's not going to create any offence. So without further ado, this is what I came up with. I did a community post asking for ideas a while back, but this is what I've come up with. This is one that's my personal: churches in fields, old, not necessarily abandoned, but churches that have probably outlived the buildings that were around them. Independent bookshops, always worth supporting, and I might find some of the books or maps that I need in them. Industrial heritage, it's a favourite of mine if you've watched any of the videos. I mean, they're very vague of these, and the idea being, as I'm driving along, if I see them, we'll go visit it and we'll cross it off. If you see it and I don't see it, then you cross it off and make a note and let me know if I've missed it. I've no doubt when we come to bridges, say, we're going to pass a lot of bridges, not necessarily the one that I choose. So we've got river, whether it's got a massive river or a little river or a historic river, whatever. Trig point, yeah, if you've watched my videos, I always like to find a trig point when I'm out. Wildcard, this is anything that doesn't fit the rest of it. The example I've been giving to people is something like Blackpool Tower. It might, or Goon Hilly Down or something like that. It might not fit any of the others, but they might be well worth visiting. Museum or a library. Castle. County sign or milepost. This will be like if there's such a thing as the original pre-1970s, you are now entering Dorset, that kind of thing. Or mileposts, they have the old, up here it would say Yorkshire WR, Castleford 6 miles on it. Or you get those fingerboards, and they were all individual to the county. That's the same in the West Riding. They were made of metal, and they had like a circular nameplate on the top that said Yorkshire WR. In the East Riding, they were made of wood and painted white. So again, something like that links with the past. Prehistoric remnant, stone circle, standing stone. Geological feature, won't give the game away in the East Riding, but there's a couple of pretty outstanding geological features in that county. Ancient tree, another favourite of mine. If I could find the oldest tree in the county, that would be great. Listed building, again very vague, covers anything from a 1,000-year-old church to a 100-year-old pub. A viewpoint, not necessarily the best view in the county, but if it's easy to get to, we'll be tracking it down. Blimey, I've turned my heater off in the greenhouse. two things have happened. We've started to steam up, and it's got very cold very quickly. It's a bit noisy. I suppose you'd have to have a big old church on, wouldn't you? Similar to that, but not as old. Roman, Saxon, or Viking remain. Here's what it says. Let's see what we can find. County town or hall. So it would be remiss of me not to go to the county town of each of the historic counties. It's usually the administrative. It's like the capital of a county, isn't it? And if it's got a town hall, it's got a town hall. But I would like to go to each county town. There'll be ancient towns. They'll have a lot of these things in them, and there'll be a good day out. Local delicacy came in late, did that one. So yeah, let me know what's your local delicacies where you're from. Be it a pie, pastry, sweet thing, waterfall. Quite challenging. It's not going to be as easy as you think, especially when you get down to Suffolk and Norfolk and the East Riding. So yeah, and this gives massive scope as well, of course, to comments, and to the whole point of it is to have, for me to have, and my family and my dog, probably just one of the dogs will come with me, but the whole point of it is for us to have fun and to explore. There are beautiful islands, all of them, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, Isle of Man, Channel Islands, Scilly Islands, whatever. It's just a chance to get out and explore our beautiful corner of the world. But it's also a chance for everybody to get involved, because step outside Yorkshire, and my knowledge of this country is quite limited, so your own county's better than me, so get making suggestions for where I should go, where you live, where I would find any of these things in the county where you live. Quite looking forward to that one. Don't have to be ancient, could be modern, World War II. I'm looking forward to when I get down to Kent, the Battle of Britain. Iconic part of the country, aren't they? Let's see what they're used for nowadays, and can we find one that we can make a phone call on. Don't go in pubs much these days, but I'm going to make an exception. Don't have to be the oldest pub in the county, but could be a classic old pub. It is what it says on the tin, as is this one. Famous road, could be a Roman road, could be an A road, could be a steep mountain pass, whatever. You let me know, really. We like a sculpture, Angel of the North. Those standing men at Southport, that would be in Lancashire, wouldn't it? Those on the beach there. This sort of ties in with the town hall, doesn't it? The county town. Does it have a market? But this just doesn't have to be the county town. Could be a town in the county that's got a market cross or a market square. Like a bridge. Architecture. A lot of this is architecture, but specific, well-known piece of architecture in the county. Abandoned buildings. There's plenty of opportunities for viewers to make suggestions, but this is one that will actually get picked. So in the first instance, we're looking for viewer suggestions for the East Riding, but I'll make a note of, I'm going to do one of these sheets for every county. So if I get lots of suggestions, I'm gonna fill the sheet with suggestions. So get your thinking caps on. we live on an island, don't we? But not all the counties have got a seashore. So it's coastal features, and I've made the exception that if it's inland, just a general dock or a pier by a river or even a lake. Lost village, I'm sure every county's got one. See if we can find them. Local legend, ghost story. I'm actually starting to shiver. I'm going to have to take a break and put the heater on. Yeah, and again, that probably people who live there probably know these better than me. Again, another one that came in late on was a Ford. But I like a good Ford, and we'll be going in the car, so... and a war memorial, that's... Whereas waterfall might be difficult, sadly the war memorial won't be difficult at all, because, as I've said often on my videos, there's one in every village in these islands, isn't there? That was my watering cans just being blown off the chair that it was on. So there you go, guys. That's the bingo challenge. I'll be taking this with me, and I'll be crossing them off as I find them. I'm not saying that we're going to find all 36. It's a 6x6, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 6x6, 36. I'm not saying we're going to find them all, but certainly want a couple of lines, I think. And lines, they're not this way down, I don't think. Lines are just across or diagonal. No, we'll have lines any which way. So any which way you get one, we'll class that as a line. And then on the back, I did want to make this printable so that you could print it off, and I might yet do that later in the series, but honestly I don't know how to do it. So all I can suggest is, if you want to take a screenshot of this and the front, and as and when I learn how to put this in the description for you to print off, I will. This is where we'll be visiting. So if you live in one of these places, get your thinking caps on and start making suggestions for me. I'm starting off with the East Riding because it's closest to home. Well, all three of these are, but I'm going to do them in this order, I think. I'm going to leave the York till the end. Again, that won't be controversial, but I included the City of London because it's a separate entity, and I think it always was. And I've included the City of York because it's England's second city. That's not controversial, is it? Because it is. But I'm going to do them much later in the series. But yeah, get your thinking caps on, start making suggestions. I'm not sure when I'll get round to all these. I'm starting here with these three. Then I'm probably going to do Derbyshire. I can do in the from here. Nottinghamshire I can do from here. Lincolnshire I could do bits of it, and Lincolnshire, same as Yorkshire, it was always historically split into three, wasn't it? And so as you'll see, there's no Humberside, and there's no Cleveland, and there's no Greater Manchester or Merseyside, none of that nonsense. What a fantastic, and this is for a Yorkshireman saying it, but what a fantastic county Lancashire was. It was massive and interesting, and I suppose it still is. But anyway, there you go. You'll have to have 5 minutes. So this is what I'll be armed with, this is what I'll be armed with, and this is what I'll be armed with. I'm going to take a guidebook with me. This is, I've gone completely off script now. This is a series. I already have 3 books of this. it's literally a book for every county in England. I think it was written in the 1940s. I've got the West Riding one, and I've got the Nottinghamshire, and I've got Derbyshire, and I managed to pick this up for £5. A second-hand bookshop. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Yeah, first printed 1941. Ironic, isn't it? It was the King's England then, it's the King's England now. It's a bit heavy on church, so it covers like most towns in the and villages. So I'm hoping to add a bit of sort of local knowledge. So if, say, we go to Norton, I might actually read the odd paragraph and see what we can see that's in here that's still there now. And the other thing I'm going to try and do is get a map. This came out of the back of this book. So likewise, this was my original plan was to draw on the map. So as we went out, I was going to get a felt pen and actually draw the journeys that we make. So this is the map of Yorkshire. As you can see, it was bounded by Durham, Westmoreland, Lancashire, Cheshire, Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, Lincolnshire. This is the North Riding. This is the West Riding. You could spend the rest of your life just exploring there. And it's incredible, it's the West Riding. It went from here, which is the River Trent, all the way over to here, which is about 5 miles from Oldham on the other side of the Pennines, all the way up to here, which is now in Cumbria. All of the Yorkshire Dales, and its county town was Wakefield, which I can't find. I know you can all see it, except me. Wakefield, it's there. Yeah, so if you had a complaint with the county offices from Sedbergh, you had a long way to go. But the one that we're starting at is the smallest of the Yorkshire counties. We're starting with the East Riding, which is bordered as the River Ouse comes out of York. The Ouse is the boundary, and then going north east, the River Derwent was the boundary. And as unlike now, when Filey is in North Yorkshire, back in the day, Filey was in the East Riding, and then the whole of this section of the Yorkshire coast down to Spurn Point. So that's where we're starting, guys. I am undecided. I might get a felt pen and mark the journey, because I would, if I could, over the course of the 5 days, like to sort of do a bit of a circuit of the county, and this is the county town of the East Riding. So there you go, guys. We've got bingo card, map, book, stickers, and hopefully some nice weather. As I say, I'd love it if you played along. I'm sorry you can't print the bingo card off. I'm not sure how you would do it. You maybe would take a screenshot of it. At least you've got a record of it. So yeah, I'm going to be kicking the challenge off in the next couple of days, and I'm going to allow, I think, about 4 or 5 days. Otherwise, it'll get too unwieldy. So I'm looking for suggestions for the the mystery find, the viewer suggestion, and also if you want to make suggestions for the wild card. I'm quite looking forward. It's about half an hour from here to get into the East Riding, and I'm going to try and do it it's going to be like a treasure hunt. It is going to be a bit planned, it is going to be a bit scripted, because I'm not just going to drive into the East Riding of Yorkshire and try and find a waterfall in a county where I know for a fact there are none. But there might be one. There'd be one today if I was to trek in this, I'm sure. But yeah, so it's going to need a little bit of scripting. But then other things, it's not. If we pass a phone box, if we pass a sign that says castle, or if we pass a church, or if we pass a pub that looks it's 200 or 300 years old, we might just stop off the cuff. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I'm dead excited about this. Disproportionately excited. I hope other people are, but if not, it just gets me out of the house, doesn't it, and keeps me out of mischief. So let me know what you think. Let me know what your suggestions are. We're looking for the East Riding, West Riding, North Riding. But we'll be going not too long in the future. We might be going to Northumberland, and we might be heading over towards Lancashire. But wherever you are in the country, let me know what you've got that's on my bingo card. So until probably next week now, when we get this started, I'll see you then. And I'm going to put the heater on because it's freezing. Ciao.